I managed to figure out where the record button was, and we're at this once again. Jonathan, your boy Brandon, as you say, a well-oiled machine, just rolling along these tracks.
Coasting, man.
Now,
Coast.
something that we love, and for those that don't know, they should, in Kentucky and in a lot of other places too, but especially in Kentucky here where we're based, we're very fortunate. We have some amazing bourbon festivals. And those go in the kind of what I call the indoor variety, which is like your Bourbon Con at Marriott in Lexington in January, Bourbon Classic out in Louisville in February. Unfortunately, those are done for the year. They'll be coming back around, so keep a lookout for those. But two that are coming up in the fall, one around Bourbon Heritage Month, and the other just after that is the Kentucky Bourbon Festival in early September, and Bourbon on the Banks in early October, for Saturday in October. Two fun festivals to go to. Brandon, why should people go to a bourbon festival?
I mean, it's for folks that really you want to have a good time. You want to go to a festival, but if you have to go. You have to be a bourbon lover, but it's also a good time to try a lot of things that you've never tried before. So if you don't want to go to the store and you don't want to spend a bunch of money on different bottles trying things, you get to go to the Bourbon Festival and try every single one of them for free, as many times as you want to, which is awesome. All the big name players are there, and I'm just going to name drop one time. Even Buffalo Trace even had Weller there for free. So if you never tried Weller, they had the Special Reserve. They had even the 107 for free. So you get to try all the good stuff. Like, just throwing out some names. Bardstown Bourbon. They had a bunch of stuff for free. Heaven Hill. A lot of stuff for free. Heaven Hill even released some specialty bottles. That was, that you could purchase, but it was really good stuff, like 13, 15, 17-year stuff.
And I think this year with the move to earlier in September, the goal is to have more of those special releases happen at the Bourbon Festival.
And Heaven Hill is not going to be the only one doing that. So just keep that in mind. And then there's all kinds of other stuff. I think last year, they have like 30 different food trucks.
They had a good bit of food trucks. I mean, they had also Three Chord brought in Drake White and Hailstrom, who they did bottles with, and they performed there. Surprisingly, you get to talk to great folks. Like one of our favorite people is Greg at Larrikin now, and you got some that Rick and Ricky Johnson, who we talked to at 15 Stars, were there. The guys at OH Ingram. Pretty much, you name it, if they're a brand in Kentucky, they are there. 50-plus brands, 200-plus labels. I mean, it's amazing.
And that is the best thing about the Bourbon Festival is that you got your traditional distilleries kind of on one side, like your Buffalo Traces, that type of stuff, Four Roses, Heaven Hill. It's on one side. And then there's a whole complete section of you're kind of like your craft bourbon, folks that are trying to get into it, like your RD1 spirits, 15 Stars, things like that. They're over there, but they all bring something new. Most of them actually do a bottle or a barrel just for special pick, just for Bourbon Festival. And most of them will have those bottles for sale, but you get to try before you buy. So... and not to mention, like I said, the food. Like there's 20 to 30 food trucks. That's also, but it's also very well done. It's very well run.
Cigar bar, cigar lounge.
Cigar bar, cigar lounge. Like you said, live music. There's food. But it's also what was really, really shocking to me the first year that we went. I thought it was just going to be just a drunken redneck shit show, literally.
Yeah, you got a ticket and you can drink as much bourbon as you can in 6 hours.
You can. Now, maybe some people got sloppy, and that's fine, but it wasn't. Like, everybody was, 98% of the people were upright. They were talking, no slurring.
And they wanted to learn. They want to learn. They want to talk to people. They want to talk with like-minded folks that are enjoying bourbon. Like, hey, what's a good pour you had today? Like, I don't know how many times we just stumble upon someone and they'd be like, hey, where did you go? Anything good? And we'd say it, and they'd be like, I haven't been there. I got to go there now. Like, and vice
Right.
versa. We'd go find someplace that we hadn't tried.
And
I just love
and for the most and for the most part, for anybody out there who wants to actually, you could get majority of them, if not all of them. Their distillers are there. Their master distillers or blenders, they're there. They're helping promote. They're talking to the people. So if you ever want to get, just ask those questions and talk to the distillers and or blenders or whatever it may be. Like, they're there. They're super approachable. Everybody's super nice. There's also arts and crafts. There's all kinds of vendor stalls there that you can buy different, specialty items. That's not, some of it's bourbon related, some of it isn't. But it's fantastic. And the city of Frankfurt that time of year just buzzing. Great food. Bardstown. My bad.
the
But
other
yeah,
bourbon
it's
on the
buzzing.
banks, Frankfurt. Yes.
Yeah, whatever. But I mean, the city's awesome. Like that time of year, it's awesome any time of year. Sorry, but
It's special because
Great.
all the distilleries, because the event doesn't start until like noon for the regular tickets, 11 for
Correct.
VIP. So you can go to stuff
Correct.
earlier in the day, like you can take
Correct.
distillery tours earlier in the day,
Mhm.
and then Bardstown and some of the other places have night events afterwards, so you can go do that.
Yep.
And then you mentioned Frankfurt, Bourbon on the Banks was a blast because it's
Yep.
not all the same ones, because you get some of the ones from out of state that can come down that are nearby, which is really cool. Maybe some brands that, I don't know, are still on the up and coming that, I'm sure it's not cheap for those brands to go to a bourbon festival, the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, so they maybe start out at Bourbon on the Banks and get to try a whole bunch of things there. And this is going to lead perfectly into this, and one of the reasons that we're doing this is because Town Branch dropped this bourbon whiskey at the Bourbon Festival. It's the first time you could get it at any point, taste it, buy a bottle. Was at Bourbon Fest this past year. Always love talking to Dave Bob, and that is the Overproof, 104 proof bad boy. That is 4 different barrels blended together. Would you like the rundown of what those are, Brandon?
Hit me.
So you have a Kentucky straight bourbon that is 72% corn, 15% rye, 13% malted barley. A Kentucky straight wheated bourbon, 70, 22, 8. A Kentucky straight double oak whiskey, 72, 15, 13, finished in 90% rye, 5%, 5 and 5 rye barrels, and then a Kentucky straight rye, a 90, 5 and 5. So a little bit of corn and barley on the rye barrels. So 4 different blends, ranging from 4 to 8 years, averaging about 5 to 6 years, coming in at 104 proof on this thing. Just a few deets.
See what we got.
I think it smells fantastic on the nose.
It does. It really does smell good.
But I mean, think about that. You got a bourbon, a wheated bourbon, a double oaked, a bourbon, and then a rye. Like, I feel like that's a setup to a joke.
Day Bob, man. You never know, man. But Day Bob, like he
has fun in the warehouse, I think.
Day Bob is that true mad evil scientist when it comes to the rick house. Literally. Day Bob will find barrels that have been lost in translation forever, stuck in some storage room that somebody forgot about, past blenders and distillers was going to use, end up leaving. Day Bob finds them, and he's like,
Well, think
you
about
know
it.
what?
A double oaked whiskey, so a 72 corn, 15 rye, 13 malted barley, finished in rye barrels. Think about that. The secondary finish was in rye barrels. I don't feel like you hear that very often.
No, and this is nothing against Day Bob and what he's doing by no means, but it doesn't even make sense. I don't know. I just can't wrap my brain around that. But he did it because he's an evil genius when it comes to this stuff. Like, he literally
All right.
is.
So you've been talking up Dave Bob, who we
Yep.
love, but
Yep.
do you love this bourbon or whiskey? I should probably call it a whiskey because I don't think it's a bourbon at this point.
Yep.
And what's fun, you might not remember this. Do you remember this? At our very first bourbon festival, he gave us a pour of this. We said we didn't like it because it had a weird. the finish went off, and he said, "I got that. We're going to go back to the drawing board." And this is what they ended up coming up with.
Because the finish, it fell flat.
Yeah, to me it disappeared.
Like it hits you with like a pop bursting of flavor, and then it just like, oh, well, I was waiting for more, but now there's a lot going on. Now
Four
again,
different things.
Now again, mind you, we're gonna put this in our little comeback hat. Because this is the only little sample that I've got. So, again, nose is good, smells good. There's a lot going on with this. Now, again, to some people, it's a roller coaster of flavors going on, big time. As you can tell by the 4 different barrel blends.
Mm-hmm.
Do I hate it? No. Is it? It's going to be a comebacker for me, for sure.
Now, see, when I had it down there with Dave Bob, I was very impressed. Then I think we had it at Bourbon on the Banks, and I was like, okay, maybe because you never. I'll be honest. The beauty of Bourbon Festival is you get to try a lot of stuff. The downside is you try a lot of stuff, and your taste buds could get a little overworked, and you're not sure how you're really feeling.
Right.
You know, like you could taste something the next day and be like, man, that's a totally different.
Yeah, you can get toasted really quick. You gotta pace yourself.
And so at Bourbon on the Banks, I think I was like, I don't know if I love it as much as I did. But again, coming back to it this time, it's funky, and I'm enjoying the funk on this one.
You know what? It's also to me like, I don't know about you, but it drinks hotter than 104 to me, because I'm getting that deep Kentucky hug, like deep. You know what I mean? Like it's not like 120 or above top deep hug, but it's there.
Yeah.
So, and at 104, I don't think you should be getting that, in my opinion. Especially if you're doing a 4-barrel blend, which I get it. You want all these different complex flavors coming through this just a ball of flavor, but I just get that deep hug right here. I don't know. Now again, that's technically a bad thing, but it's just it's there. It does kind of sit there.
See, I'm liking it though, and this is the other thing that I like about it. And to me, as I told Dave Bob at the Bourbon Festival, I think this could be something really cool for them.
Yeah.
That could be really great. The bottle's totally different when you see the actual bottle on the shelves. It's not the square bottle like they normally have. It's more of the traditional slender kind of bottle. And what do you think this MSRP would be? 4 to 8 year blending range, about 5 to 6, 4 different, whiskeys coming together. What would your guess be, and maybe what you think it should be?
My guess is like $70.
What do you think it should be if you were going to buy it?
I honestly think that probably in that $60 to $70 range would be fair. Now, again, but most people, they sit on the shelf. They're only buying it to try it for the first time, usually. We're fortunate that we get to try stuff, before we want to go buy it, or we just call Dave Bob up and he gives us a bottle. But
you're a little high on the price.
Am I really?
Uh-huh. By actually a decent little amount.
$40?
Ding, ding, ding.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's no brainer.
That's what I told him. I said,
price is all price.
Price
But price
makes a big
always
difference.
It's relevance, man. It really is. It's price for $40. Yes, I'm buying this just because of the complexity of it, the flavor bomb that you get. Now, you can deal with a little bit of a Kentucky hug there at 104 proof. You can deal with that. That's fine. And you get that little funkiness from it, but it's a good funk. It's not the bad funk that we've.
It's a good funk. It's tasty. I don't think, like you said, I don't think everyone's gonna love it because it does bring.
No.
It's a weird mix. You're blending four things, and I will say from when the original one we had 2 years ago to now, they figured it out. But a 4 to 8 year, 5 to 6 year old, $40. I'm like, buddy, this is what you guys need to be doing more of.
Correct. And literally, it's almost there. Like the only knock I have on it is that I'm just getting that deep burn, and I feel like I'm breathing fire.
It does linger in the.
Correct. Yes, it does. But again, it doesn't smell that way. It smells great. You get that that subtle sweetness, and you can tell that it's got a complex flavor to it.
But yeah, I'm down.
For $40. For basically 100 proof bourbon, and doing what they're doing with it, these blending. Yeah, I mean, Dave Bob's putting them. He's gonna put them on the map. I'm telling you, like he's gonna be the next best thing. I'm telling you. You heard it here first. Like Dave Bob's gonna be the. If he doesn't do it there, if he doesn't do it there, he'll go somewhere else and do it.
But I'm excited to see, and I didn't tell you this. So it's 70%. So I told you the four. It's 70% of the bourbon, 10 of the wheated, 10 of the double oak, and 10 of the rye. Yeah. So I forgot to add that. But so you're a yes at the $40 price point and all that.
And honestly, I would have been fine at the $60 to $70 range just because I was,
there's a lot that goes into it.
A lot that goes into it. He's blending 4 different bottles or barrels, and he's letting it age in rye barrels. And he's off the chain up here, man. Love Dave Bob, but this is really, for $40, hell yeah.
I'm there, and these are the things you get to try first at a bourbon festival, a bourbon classic, bourbon event, most likely, depending on what they're putting out. And I expect the bourbon festival, the Kentucky Bourbon Festival, to be doing a lot of things. Mid-April when tickets go on sale, so be on the lookout for that. Bourbon on the Banks tickets on sale now. Now we're going to go to the Town Branch Finished in Maple Stout Barrels. This one's more of their winter seasonal release. They also do this in conjunction with the Maple Stout Bourbon Barrel beer that is fantastic. Last year when we did these two together, 100%. the bourbon and the beer maybe overshadowed the bourbon, so we're just doing the bourbon this time. So Town Branch Finished in Maple Stout Barrels. So they put beer in the bourbon barrels, maple stout, and then they dump those and then put bourbon back in them to finish them off.
And by the way, if you all haven't tried any of the barrel finishing beer that they do,
and they also have that at the bourbon festivals.
Yeah. By the way, the bourbon cola that they have, that's in the little cans, little short, skinny cans, like a Mick Ultra can. Fantastic. It's unbelievable. So all you local folks that are listening, or anybody that sees it that's out of state, buy it. It's really good. Like I said, my favorite. They do that old. My favorite one is the old fashioned bourbon barrel.
They just brought that one back.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good. And I don't know if they were the first ones to do bourbon, beer in bourbon barrels, but they were damn near.
They were early.
They were very early. Because I remember when I was I'm not going to tell my age.
You're a true Kentucky boy.
Correct.
I'm a West Virginia guy, but we weren't allowed to have booze or liquor.
I remember coming to Lexington. Now it was a big deal to come to Lexington, where I'm from. Like, it's big. This big city. Like, and now I live here, and it's like, this is a small town.
It really is. Yeah. It's amazing. I love it.
But yeah, but no, like I remember when they first started doing it, and it was like kind of unheard of, and everybody loved it. they were just taking like their normal Irish red ale and putting it in bourbon barrels. And
they do an amazing job on their beers too, because some of them are only like 5-6% that are finished in the bourbon barrels, which is mind blowing that they can figure that out. The beer that this is, it's kind of it's pretty much almost toward the end of its season that you might find it out. The Maple Barrel Imperial Stout, which is about 12% ABV, so 24 proof for those that are in bourbon mind. It is fantastic, and I don't like dark beers, and it's fantastic. So, shall we try this guy?
Yep.
Because this is what happens when after they do the bourbon barrels, or make the beer, they then put the bourbon back in the barrels.
But really didn't happen until Dave Bob took control. They weren't doing it before him that I know of. So
I don't know. Him and my old neighbor were doing some fun things. See, that's the other beauty about living in Lexington. You never know who you're going to be living next to. Master distiller, you didn't know.
Oh yeah, this is good. Yeah.
Oh man. See, this is a fun one because it's just their regular Town Branch bourbon, 72 corn, 15 rye, 13 malts of barley. I now understand the overproof was just barley, folks. If I said malts of barley, I'm sorry, Dave Bob's shorthand. I finally figured it out. But coming in at 94 proof, finished in the Kentucky Maple Stout barrels.
Do we
And
know
I
how
want to
long?
say those stout barrels have the beer in them for upwards of 18 to 24 months.
Yes,
Which is
they
why
do.
the beer I think is extra fantastic. So these are, these are some older barrels that have seen some things and had some stuff put in them, and you get some unique flavors out of it.
Yeah. Do we know how long that they keep the?
That's what if you keep seeing me, my eyes look up. I was trying to find that, and I don't
No, that's cool.
don't think it's in there. But that's why I know that the Maple Barrel Stout though is aged for 18 months in freshly decanted maple syrup bourbon barrels. So they get the maple syrup barrels, 18 months the beer sits in them, they're dumped. That's the beer that you have. And then they put the bourbon back in those, and that's what we get with this release. So I don't know how long those were in there, but
So maple syrup barrels,
maple syrup bourbon barrels.
bourbon barrels. Gotcha.
Then they put the beer in for 18 months,
Nice.
and then put the bourbon in it. And it's a straight bourbon, which, if I'm not mistaken, straight means it's at least a 4-year-old bourbon.
Well, I was looking at the legs on the glass. It's got to be at least 4. I was thinking 5 because just off the legs on the glass.
But if I'm not mistaken, to be a straight bourbon, you can call yourself a straight bourbon, and you don't have to put an age statement if it is over 4 years. I believe that's the rule. Could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the rule. So that at least gives, for those that are out there and they see a straight bourbon with no age statement, usually it's at least older than 4.
Yeah. All right. So, few notes that I have after taking several sips of it. For whatever reason, I don't know why, it drinks hotter than the overproof, which is 10 points difference. What we're drinking now is 94. The overproof was 104. This drinks hotter.
Yes.
Like I'm getting more afterburn on it. More burn going down and more coming back up. So I don't know. Dave Bob needs to add more maple syrup to that barrel, or some cookies and cream. I don't know. But I'm not saying it's got to be a dessert thing. But you know, I wish perfect world. I wish it would just be a little bit. To me, it should be a little smoother on the back end, being in those that maple barrel. But also it could be that the beer flavor in there. I don't know, but typically that's still going to take up a lot of sweetness. Caramelized. The caramelization. I don't know. Hit me with the price point.
So $40 for the Overproof, which we loved. This one comes in a little higher, which obviously, though, this barrel has seen a lot of life, coming in at $70. Because I'm not going to tell you the actual price because you say inappropriate things. Just kidding.
I thought this was an adult show.
It is. It's just more fun to pick on you.
Yeah, I know.
And I just rounded up a cent.
So $70. Yeah, that's fine. Sorry.
See, this one's a little harder for me to get to. I like it. And this is, I think, what we ran into last time. The beer overshadowed it a little bit. But I think if you like the beer, this is a fun one to get if you like the beer. If you're not maybe a beer lover, maybe not this one. I would say this one would be a yellow light. Green light on the Overproof. Go get it. Yellow light on this one. Buyer beware, because it might be something you don't like for the price point.
Yeah, correct. Because again, I just don't. I'm with you. I can't really get there with this one. Now again, it could be one of those comebacker bottles that you get, but then again, I might want to tell you to go spend $70 on something that's.
And this could be one that you go on the tour, you get the beer, you get the bourbon, have them side by side, and you feel a lot better. Because I think, like I said, if you like the beer, this is a fun one to go get.
Correct.
If stout beer and stuff like that's not yours, I would go Overproof for sure. And then this one, if you're into that kind of thing.
Yeah. And I don't know I'm not sure if the beer itself, being beer, and you're aging it in these type of the bourbon barrels and the maple barrels and whatever. I don't know if the beer element is adding something to it that shouldn't be there. I'm not saying it is, but I don't know if it isn't. But
it's fair. It's a fair question.
I don't know. I just don't. I'm not sure. Like, Dave Bob, if you're listening, challenge you to fix this. Big challenge.
So you're no. I'm a maybe, depending on what folks think.
I'm not saying I'm a no, but it's just like. Now,
okay.
if I leave the show tonight and I go out to the liquor store tonight buying bottles of bourbon, I'm not buying this right now for $70.
But Overproof, you might. Overproof.
Overproof. No, Overproof. I'm definitely buying. Like, I'm definitely buying Overproof for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but I just don't know. But this one, right now, I'm a no. Well, literally, right now.
Hey,
but
like I said, if I'm doing
on
the
that
green light,
borderline.
red light, yellow, caution, this is the caution. And because, like I said, I think it's for certain folks. I don't know if it's for me, but that Overproof, all day.
All day.
And
Yeah,
you know
this
what else
one's
is all day? You know what else is all day?
What?
Go to a damn bourbon festival. You will love it.
This is where you can try stuff like this before you buy. Also, they give you 4 Glencairns for free. So, cheers.
Cheers.